Welcome to the Seniors Rock Show, presented by the Law Office of Michael Robinson, PC, on News Radio, Wham 1180. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion shining a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join in with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now from the News Radio Wham 1180 studio in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, hello, and thanks for joining me and my co-host, estate planning attorney Mike Robinson, and our producer, Pam. We're glad to be here today, and we've got a lot to cover in the show. So I'll give you a quick recap here, and then we're going to get on with it. Jeff Flaherty, you might know that name, of Wise Home Energy is here, and he's going to take calls today at 222-1180. And if you're a regular listener, you know that number. And Jeff did ask, he said, hey, if they've got home energy questions or anything to ask me, please have them call during my segment. So that'll be after the first break. Get your questions ready. If you want to give him a call, you've got that expert right here. Then we've got another expert segment on joint replacement. And, I've been going through, recovery from a hip replacement surgery, which is going very well. So today we've got Dr. Adam Kramer of AGAPE Physical Therapy. And he's going to talk to us about why PT should be in your plans if you do have a joint replacement in your plans. And that would be before and after the surgery. And I'm here to testify that that's true. And you know what? I've been waiting for days now to get Mike's take on the Lisa Marie Presley estate case. And I know Pam has too. We talked about it this morning. So with no further ado, happy Saturday, Mike. Do tell what's happening.
Hey there, Joanna. Happy Saturday. And yes, we're going to swing back into an estate planning conversation this week and take advantage to learn from the situation regarding Lisa Marie Presley's estate. You know, I always say it's good to learn from your mistakes, but it's even better to learn from other people's mistakes. So let's hear what's happening. And just so background is, I'm sure many of our listeners know Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis Presley's only daughter, in fact, only child, died last month at the age of 54. She was 9 years old when her father died, and he left his entire estate, including the famous home Graceland, to her. And the estate was held in trust for Lisa Marie until she reached the age of 25, which was in 1993. In 2004, Lisa Marie sold 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises for over $100 million, and she transferred the remaining 15% to a trust called the Promenade Trust. And she named her mother, Priscilla Presley, and the former business manager, Barry Siegel, as co-trustees of the Promenade Trust, and they served in that capacity for many years. Very shortly after Lisa Marie died, Priscilla Presley filed a petition challenging Lisa Marie's will, as well as a 2016 document that purported to remove Priscilla and Barry as co-trustees of the Promenade Trust, and instead to replace them with Lisa's daughter, Riley Keough, and with Lisa's now predeceased son, Benjamin Keough. And that was to take place upon Lisa Marie's death. So the petition that Priscilla Presley filed alleges that she never received the document changing the trustees, as was required by the terms of the Promenade Trust. And also, she's challenging that 2016 document. Apparently, there were misspellings of names, a dubious signature on the document. There was no witnesses or no notary on the document, as is customary. So a number of problems there. So what are the lessons that we can take away? And obviously, it's very early. This petition was just filed, and it's going to take months, if not years, to resolve these issues. But there are some lessons that we can learn right off the bat. And the first of them is that, if privacy is important, consider using a trust rather than a will to control the disposition of your estate. Because the only reason that any of us knows about this is because Lisa Marie Presley used a will to control the disposition of her estate. As we have talked about on this program so many times, when you use a will to pass on your estate, that will has to go through probate. That is a public court proceeding. The terms of the will, in fact, the will itself becomes a public document at that point. So anybody can see what the terms of the will are. They're going to see what's passing through the estate, how it's going to be handled, and so again, although we're not Presleys, most of us would probably prefer that not happen.
So you're saying, Mike, that she only had a will? Someone with that kind of wealth and fame only had a will. She didn't have an estate plan. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the will was her estate plan, and yes,
Uh-huh.
and that brings up a point, not a lesson specifically from this case, but you see it so often. We just assume that people who are famous and wealthy have all the best legal advice and have all the right things in place, and obviously that's not true. In fact, one of my favorite stories is Warren Burger, the former Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. He died with a very simple will that was devoid of even the most basic tax planning, and his family wound up paying some hefty and unnecessary estate taxes. So
Wow.
just because somebody's famous or wealthy doesn't mean they've got all the best provisions in place.
That brings me to another question. Could the attorney ever be at fault or liable if there are misspellings and errors in the will?
The short answer is yes. And it depends on a number of factors, but certainly the case law is rife with instances of attorneys who have been successfully sued for malpractice because of errors that were made in the drafting of documents. So the lessons that we're talking about here today apply not only to consumers but to estate planning attorneys as well.
Mhm.
So the first lesson really is, again, privacy may not be important, but if it is, consider the use of a trust rather than a will. And we've talked about the other reasons why a trust might be a better way to go anyway. A second lesson is that whenever you amend a trust or exercise some kind of a power granted in a trust or any legal document, it is absolutely vital to follow the terms of the instrument that grants that power precisely. So here in Lisa Marie's case, the Promenade Trust required that notice of the amendment be given to the then acting trustees. And Priscilla Presley is alleging in her petition that she never received that notice. And that may sound trivial, but it's really not trivial. If that's what's required, that's what
Mhm.
has to be done. And so even if the document was valid, failure to provide proper notice may invalidate the naming of the new trustees. And now we've got this horrible intra-family lawsuit going on over the matter. So
Well
that's
said.
lesson number two. Um, the third lesson is the importance of reviewing your plan regularly to ensure that it's up to date. Because remember, we said that 2016 document named Lisa Marie's children, Riley and Benjamin, to serve as trustees of the Promenade Trust. Benjamin died in 2020. And Lisa Marie never updated the amendment to the trust or any other documents to reflect the fact that he had passed. And so now, if she had, maybe those deficiencies in the 2016 document would have been caught. They could have been corrected. But regardless, now we have a situation where one of the appointed trustees isn't even living. And so now what happens? And again, we wind up in litigation. And, as so often happens with litigation, the only people that really make out are the lawyers. It's they're the ones who financially make out from the whole arrangement.
Mhm.
So that's a third. And there's a final lesson here too, And that is, consider inserting in your will, if you're going to use it, or a trust, something called a no contest clause, or the Latin that is often used as an in terrorem clause. And we always include those in with our clients' documents because they can be extremely helpful in these sorts of situations. So what this no contest clause will say is that if someone protests the will or the trust, if they attack it for some reason, by doing so, they forfeit the right to receive anything at all from the estate. And so that's obviously a pretty powerful disincentive to keep people from coming in and trying to upset someone's estate plan. Those are enforced differently in different states. New York State actually gives quite a bit of weight to those in terrorem or no contest clauses. So that can be an effective tool to include as well. Maybe some more lessons will come up as we resolve this, but something interesting and I think instructive so far.
Very interesting, and those untimely deaths of Lisa Marie and her son, the things that happen in a domino effect from something like that that's not expected. Quite interesting all the way around. So thanks
Yep,
for
indeed.
explaining that, Mike.
Yeah, and everybody likes to know what's going on with celebrities. So there you go.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I guess we're a bunch of voyeurs, huh? Or I don't know. It's interesting. It takes us away from the everyday stuff, I
Indeed.
guess.
Yeah. So anyway, hang on, folks. We'll be back after this break with Jeff Flaherty from Wise Home Energy. You're listening to the Seniors Rock Show on News Radio Wham 1180.
When you've lost movement, flexibility, strength, or balance, traveling a long distance for physical therapy seems like a bad decision. That's why Agape Physical Therapy has a convenient location near you, east side or west side. And there's a new location in Pittsford with Aqua Therapy. Let Agape Physical Therapy and wellness professionals customize a treatment program for you to help you recover quickly. Visit agapephysicaltherapy.com and schedule your free consultation today. No doctor referral needed.
Welcome back to the Seniors Rock Show. Joining us now is Jeff Flaherty. Jeff is the owner and founder of Wise Home Energy, LLC, and winner of the National Energy Star Contractor of the Year for 5 years running. And we are live, and Jeff wanted us to invite your calls. So this is the time. If you've got a question, give us a call at 585-222-1180. Any home energy related question you might have, or maybe you want to learn more about all the talk on electrifying everything, including your home. Let's find out from Jeff of Wise Home Energy if some of the information we've heard is fact or fiction. Good to see you, Jeff.
Hey, Mike and Joanna, great to be back. It's a little colder than the last time I think I joined you.
I think so.
I know you're probably celebrating that. I'm sure of it, right? Because you're the guy. He's the guy, folks, that says cold in your home on the commercials. So,
well, we
how
want you to be
doing?
warm in your home. That's the goal. If that's your goal, that's our goal.
Yeah, I like that goal. That's a good one. And, it's really interesting, Jeff. I'd love having you on. You always have really timely information. And this time, again, talking about the electric thing, just yesterday and today, I've heard all over the news about New York State, the Senate enacting the All Electric Building Act. And today you're going to talk about electricity and how that's affecting us and will in the future. So, my first question is, and it's not on the list that we had originally, but when they say enacted, is this thing happening? Did they pass the bill? Do you know? I know it's really new.
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if I'm bright enough to know about politics, but I know that they're certainly pushing it, and I fully expect it to be law. I don't know if it fully is, but it scares people a lot. Technology changes, and
Mm-hmm.
but we know we've been installing them for about 4 years, and we know that they do work. So our clients, we wouldn't keep installing them if they didn't work.
Installing
and
what?
when I say
Installing.
electric air source heat pump systems.
I see.
So,
Okay. And I'm going to have to interrupt you because I'm good at that. But we have a caller already, and his name is Dale, and he has a question for you, Jeff, on capital improvement.
yes.
Hi, good morning, Jeff. Thank you for being on the show. And as far as capital improvements like the heat pumps and so forth, do you know if there's a tax abatement or write-off for 22 on capital improvements like the Energy Star stuff?
So that's a great question, and there has been the Inflation Reduction Act. That is, best to contact your accountant, but there is some tax credits, and it's really interesting. You really have to map that out. We're still kind of sorting through it, but if you do one particular device, so for example, you can go from a gas hot water tank to a heat pump hot water tank. There's a tax credit for that. And then if you go from a gas furnace to an electric air source heat pump system, there's a credit for that. But the interesting thing is the way the law was written, it's almost better to stage it, to do one year and one the next. But that's on the federal level with the credits. At the state level, they have a different program. So you kind of want to contact our office and kind of map through what your goals are, what your budget is, and work that way. And one of the things I should always note is New York State has a very robust plan, and some incentives are based off income. So if the household of one person has less than $50,000, under two people less than $60,000, under three, $73,000, four people $87,000, you really want to sign up, get a no-cost home performance assessment, and find out what the home needs and match it to your goals and budget. And that program will offer additional incentives based off of income.
That is terrific. I hope that answers your question, Dale. And if you have, if you'd like to talk to Jeff, I'm sure he'll speak with you without any commitment on your end. And he knows all of this. And if you can go to wisehomeenergy.com. Dale, thank you for calling.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Jeff, quick follow-up. You mentioned heat pumps. This is obviously a colder climate where we are here in Western New York. Can we use heat pumps here?
Absolutely. The technology heat pump is moving heat from one area indoors to out or outdoors to in. And then the technology advanced to the cold climate heat pump, so we can draw 100% capacity at 5 degrees outdoor temperature. So the technology works. It takes some design. It takes some knowledge to make this work in your home. So people are nervous about it, but one of the things that I find interesting is they're nervous of a power outage. But your furnace takes electricity to run, the blower and the electric components.
We're talking electric heat pumps.
Same
you
boat.
guys are talking heat, but we're talking electric, right?
Right, but if people are nervous of electric outages, you're not going to have heat on your gas furnace because it's controlled by electric also. So that's some of the concerns, that it doesn't matter which system you have, an electric outage causes no power to the home is the challenge. So.
Wow. All right. Well, there's a lot involved here. And Jeff, I'm so glad that you know how to, help people. You've come to our house. You've helped us. You can give the home assessment. And folks, do it if you have any questions. You want to be warmer in your home for sure. So wisehomeenergy.com is the website. Jeff, thank you for joining us. I know you'll be back, and stay warm today, okay?
Thank you. Don't be cold in your home.
Okay, great. And you're listening to Seniors Rock Radio, folks. Our guest next is Dr. Adam Kramer of AGAPE Physical Therapy. He's going to talk about hip replacement and some other replacements. So stay with us. He'll be with us right after the news break. Welcome back to Seniors Rock Radio. That was a George Harrison tribute. And Mike Robinson reminded us this morning that today would have been George's 80th birthday. So we've got a couple of his songs lined up here. Very nice. I'm host Joanna Palvino, and again, co host estate planning attorney Michael Robinson. And our guest now, our next guest, is Dr. Adam Kramer. He's director of physical therapy operations at Agape Physical Therapy. And we happen to know that Adam has a soft spot for seniors too. So very special. And we're so happy he's on the show with us today. In fact, I've been challenged to attend one of his famous senior exercise classes over at the Chile Senior Center. So, Frank Nowak, if you're listening, I'm up for the challenge. As soon as my hip is completely healed from my hip replacement surgery, and that goes right along with today's timely topic, which is joint replacements. I'm going to let Dr. Adam Kramer talk now. So, hello and welcome to the show, Adam.
Thank you for having me, Joanna. You're welcome to the class anytime. I'm sure you would ace it.
I'm going to try. I will try. We'll let people know how I do and have you back to give me a little, uh, uh, what do you call, like, tell people how I did.
Absolutely.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah. Hey, Adam, you've been in practice for almost 10 years now, and you're currently treating full time at the Chile and Gates Agape offices. We're thinking you've seen quite a few joint replacements, and that leads to the first question. How common are joint replacements?
Yeah, so we are seeing joint replacement surgeries increase year over year. Certainly, some of this is the aging population. Um, I think, too, this is my own theory since the pandemic. A lot of the outpatient procedures were put on hold. So now we're seeing a lot of people playing catch up, which is certainly keeping the surgeons and the PTs busy. I do have some stats for you. In 2020, the US saw 2 million hip and knee replacements, and it's anticipated by 2030 that number is going to jump up to 3.5 million per year.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. How does someone know when they're ready to have a joint replacement?
So this answer is, of course, a little different for everyone. But what I tell people is you will know when you're ready. For example, once it starts affecting your walking pattern, your limping, your quality of life is suffering, you're starting to miss out on family and social events because of the pain, you're having difficulty sleeping, and generally your spouse can't stand you, then you know it's time to start looking at your options. And the other prerequisite I tell people is you've got to try out some conservative management first as well, like PT, aquatic therapy, maybe medication or injections. You want to make sure that those things aren't going to work for you before you obviously undergo a major surgery. If you're still having trouble, if you're still suffering after those options, then that's a good time to see the surgeon. So.
Yeah, that's about the same path that I took, Dr. Kramer, as far as, going through. First, it's kind of funny because go through denial in the beginning, and it's like, okay, I'm limping, but you know what? Hey, I'm getting used to this. It's nobody can notice, and you go through that, and then, as you said, you try to figure out how to help it. And I did go to PT. I started doing things at home, and I'm really happy that I did that because when I eventually made the decision to have the hip replacement, I had built those muscles up and it really did, I think, help with my current rehab. And I'm having it done at home now. I have PT Lisa comes to the house. I'm 4 weeks out of uh, from the surgery, and I will be coming to Agape very shortly. Uh, I think Lisa's got another one or two appointments here in home, and then I'll be coming to you guys to continue. And I'm very happy to report that it's been amazing. Amazing the help that it gives me, and I can notice right away if I don't do it, and I've been doing it 4 weeks every day, the exercises, and if I don't do it for a while, I can feel the difference. So it's really terrific. And I guess I'm going to ask you, what would you recommend to someone who's planning on having or recently had a joint replacement? How soon should they start thinking about PT?
Yeah, I think you already mentioned it. I think getting in for that prehab is really important. And obviously, there's the benefits of the improved strength and the improved function before and after surgery.
Hmm.
But I think some a part of that we overlook is the benefit of establishing a relationship with your physical therapist before the
Hmm.
surgery. That way you know what to expect, especially if you're someone who's not familiar with exercise or working out. Kind of getting in there before you've undergone, a big procedure really gives you a lot of confidence. And then after surgery too, you know, the most important thing you can do is participate in that rehab. Uh, you had major surgery, don't waste that, expensive procedure. Make sure that it's healing correctly. And then I think the biggest part of the post-surgical rehab is actually retraining your brain to move normally again, because most
Yep.
likely you've kind of developed bad habits from even before the surgery. So
Mhm. And what you're saying is so true because I was reminded by doing this every day for the last 4 weeks how important it is to do it on a regular basis. And I like to, goof off and, I wasn't in the generation that, did physical therapy or not physical therapy, but exercised all the time. I mean, in grammar school, we played out on the playground with a ball. Nobody told us to do exercise. Girls didn't really join sports. It was a different era. So this has been teaching me to do it on a regular basis. So this is terrific.
absolutely, a lot of people can actually use physical therapy or use a joint replacement to then get into a regular exercise routine.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling very motivated to do that. And I'll ask you quick here. What's the difference between hip and knee replacement? Is there a big difference in the PT procedure?
Yes. So believe it or not, the hips are a lot easier.
This is what I
Um,
heard.
yeah, yeah, you may have heard this before. The knee is a tougher rehab process. So that's something to know. If you are considering a knee replacement, there's a lot of dedication required to get through that knee rehab over the hip. We're seeing a lot of people with the hips. They have the home therapy, and sometimes they don't even need to come to outpatient. Certainly, if you're still having some difficulty, the outpatient is a good idea. But the knee replacement, I always say it's a couple months of torture followed by a lifelong perfect joint. So
Absolutely. You have hit it on the head here. Dr. Adam Kramer from Agape, thank you for joining us today. Tell folks how they can get a hold of you.
the best way is to go to our website, agapephysicaltherapy.com, or give us a call at 889-7777.
Terrific. Agape Physical Therapy, great people, great rehab. I'm so impressed with everything I've learned. And folks, do it if you're having any kind of replacement or if you just want to, feel better about your body and get in, stretch a little bit and maybe work on a couple other things besides joint replacements. Go to Agape and stay tuned, will you? We'll be right back on News Radio Wham 1180.
And welcome back to Seniors Rock Radio. I'm estate planning attorney Mike Robinson here with host Joanna Palvino. And we heard another George Harrison song. And yes, Joanna, as you indicated, today would have been George's 80th birthday.
Yeah, wild, right? Yeah. My father used to give me albums like for Valentine's Day, Beatles, and my aunt from Scotland brought me the first 45 I ever had of the Beatles. And boy, memories, memories, memories. And it doesn't seem that long ago.
Boy, it really doesn't. Did you have a favorite Beatle?
Well, Paul was always my favorite because I loved the eyes and the eyelashes, typical girl.
Yeah, I think
And
Paul was a lot of people's favorite.
mhm. And I liked Ringo because he was funny, and I liked John because he was kind of cool and very hip and very, um, you know, uh, I guess spiritual. And then who did I miss? George, Ringo, Paul. Who's the other one?
John, that
John. Wait, I just said John. Who did
yeah,
I
you
miss?
got them all. How about you,
So
Pam?
I think I'll say John Lennon is my favorite. But fun fact about Paul McCartney is we actually have the same birthday, June 18th. So that's something kind
There
of
you
cool.
go.
that's impressive.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well,
It's a crazy week this week. Boy, winter came back with a vengeance.
yeah. Well, we weren't going to get away with that. You know that. I mean, we
Yeah.
knew it was coming, but it's okay. Not far.
Yes.
We're not far from spring, right? Because what's coming up next?
I was just going to say, what do you got coming up next?
Well, I was going to say March is coming up. That's
Th-
next week,
Yeah, the
right?
St. Patrick's Day parade, right? When is that? Is that the 11th?
Yeah,
Saturday the
March
11th?
11th. Yep, March
Okay.
11th. So we're going to celebrate that. We're going to celebrate all month. We're going to celebrate aging, and we're going to celebrate March because it symbolically represents new growth, humans, in plants, and in animals. So we're going to see all that stuff probably in the parade. And I love the pipe, so it's my favorite parade of all time.
It's a good one. Yeah. And who's coming up? Who's our guest next week?
Well, funny you should ask. We're going to have a representative from the St. Patrick's Day Parade here to tell us all about this year's parade and who's going to be in it. And then we will also be joined by Dr. Laura Petrescu, and she's the only direct primary care doctor in this region. And I'm a patient of hers. And I'd like to say that I can't recommend her any more than I do to family and friends. And Dr. Petrescu, if you're new to her name or Athena, she took a leap away from insurance restrictions to open this member based practice right here in Rochester. And it's obvious that it's reinvigorated the passion and reason why she chose medicine as a profession in the first place. She became to become a true healer. That's why she went to medical school. And she'll tell you that. And she certainly is. And I'm so happy to know her. And you can learn more about Athena or Dr. Petrescu at athenadirectcare.com. That's athenadirectcare.com. And she'll be here right here in the studio next Saturday.
Very good. And I wanted to remind people also that a little over a month from now, March 30th, is the date of Lifespan's annual celebration of aging luncheon. You can still get tickets at lifespanrochester.org. And this year, the guest speaker is Hall of Fame Buffalo Bills quarterback Jim Kelly. And
Woohoo.
yeah, that's exciting. And the luncheon's theme is Journey of Perseverance, which Jim Kelly knows a lot about. And so, come on out to the luncheon, learn what it really means to be Kelly Tough from the man himself. And always a great program and inspiring. I'm sure this one will be the same. Again, that's Thursday, March 30th from noon till 1:30 at the Floriano Riverside Convention Center. Tickets are $65 a piece. Tables of 8 are available. So again, you can go to lifespanrochester.org and you can pay securely online and get your tickets.
I am looking forward to that. It is always a wonderful event, as you said. And what are you going to be doing this weekend?
Oh,
Time to go.
cleaning up limbs that fell with the ice. That's okay. More firewood, good stuff for me. So the music's playing. So
I like how you recycle.
There you go. Time to head out. So everybody have a great week. Stay well, and be kind.
Thanks for joining us, folks, and stay with us. Come back next week, in fact, and go to seniorsrockradio.com if you want to leave us a note or a topic that you'd like us to discuss in the future or on another show, or just say hello. It's been a pleasure to spend another hour with you, my friends, and to remind you that we care. We really do believe that seniors rock.